Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, Cooking for the Family. I'm Devon. Well, I have been harvesting apples from my apple tree. My apples are golden delicious apples. I'm going to be making a wonderful apple cobbler. These are the ingredients that I'm going to be using. So my apples vary in size, but most of them are about the baseball size. Now I'm using golden delicious apples. That's the type of tree that I have in my backyard, but you can use also Granny Smith apples. My apples are actually very tart, and so a tart apple is going to work the best in this recipe. And so I'm going to be using 8 apples. If your apples that you're using are on the large side, then you want to use about 6 apples. And when I say large apples, I'm talking about, say, softball size, about the size of a softball, give or take, around about that size. You'll need about 6 apples. And so once I've prepared my apples, I go ahead and put 1 tablespoon of fresh squeezed lemon juice, and the lemons are also from my lemon tree. We've got a lot of fruit and vegetables in our backyard that we grow, so I always like to use our bounty, our harvest. If we're not using it, I always give it away to family and friends. And so I've also put in there some light brown sugar, and I put in 1/4 cup of light brown sugar and 1/4 cup of regular granulated sugar. Next, I'm going to put in some cinnamon, and I'm putting in 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, if you are new to my channel, welcome in, and if you're a returner, welcome back. On my channel, I love to share what I cook and bake for my family in my kitchen, and so if you enjoy a variety of recipes, I hope you enjoy my content and consider subscribing. Now, once I have the light brown sugar, the granulated sugar, I also put in just a little bit, a pinch. I'm going to put in a pinch of salt, and a pinch is about 1/8 of a teaspoon. And be sure to put that pinch of salt because it does help to balance out the sweetness for our apple cobbler. I'm doing mine old school, and I'm going to be baking my apple cobbler in my cast iron skillet. This is an 8-inch cast iron skillet. I'm going to put a little bit of butter. This is about 1/2 of a tablespoon, just enough so that I can be really generous and coat the bottom and the sides. Now, if you don't have a cast iron skillet, you can go ahead and bake this in an 8-inch, an 8x8 square pan, a casserole dish. You can go ahead and bake it in that instead. You still want to make sure that you butter it. I'm going to put our apples that we prepared right into the dish. And be sure you go ahead and even them out. I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to work on our crust for our apple cobbler. Our apple cobbler crust is the crust that I also like to use when I make my mixed berry cobbler, my blueberry cobblers. It comes out really easy. So far I have a large bowl, and in my bowl I put 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1 cup of flour. Go ahead, give that a good stir with a fork. Then I have 1 large egg that I have at room temperature. I'm going to beat my egg really good until it gets nice and frothy. I add it to my flour and sugar mixture, and while I'm doing this, while I'm getting my cobbler crust ready, I have my oven preheating on 400 degrees. So I take my fork, and you want to use a fork when you do this. I take my fork and I go all around the bowl, and you see it's going to create these little crumbs all over. And so keep mixing around in your bowl, making sure that you're blending in the egg with the flour and with the sugar mixture, and just keep going around the bowl just like I'm doing there. It's not going to totally incorporate, but what you're going to end up having is you're going to have almost like little cornflakes all throughout your mix right there. And we're going to use all of our mixture to cover our apples completely. And be sure to get around the edges as well. In the description box below, I will have a list of all the ingredients you need to make this wonderful apple cobbler. I have 6 tablespoons of melted butter that have been melted as well as cooled, and I'm using salted butter. I like to use salted butter with this recipe, but if you have unsalted butter, that will work also. And I drizzle the melted butter all over the top. The reason why you also want to have butter cool is because you don't want to have the hot butter put right on top of the sugar and flour mixture. It'll start to dissolve your sugars, and you don't want that to happen until once your cobbler is in the oven. So our cobbler is ready to go in the oven, and it's going to bake for 40 to 50 minutes at 400 degrees, or either you want to make sure that it's hot and bubbly around the sides and it's a beautiful golden brown, just like this one. And you see how it's still bubbling around the sides. I'm going to let it cool slightly for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'm going to go ahead and serve us up some. Also, in the description box below with the list of ingredients, I'll also have an alternative if you want to make your apple cobbler with a little less sugar. I'll have that information for you as well in the description box below. So I am serving this up some. It is looking so good. The crust for our cobbler has come out beautifully. Do you see how this is looking? And I love baking in a cast iron skillet. My mother baked in a cast iron skillet so much, and so I just kind of got into the habit from growing up and watching her do that. Well, this is our cobbler. I like to have mine actually with no ice cream, but today I put some ice cream on it for y'all. This is your bite right here. Go ahead and take your bite. Now I'm going to take my bite and see how we did. Y'all, this cobbler, it comes out so good. I love having different recipes for my apples, for the apple tree. I will put links to all the other recipes that I have for apples and for the fall season. I have wonderful cinnamon apples that I make that go great with your holiday ham. I also have some pumpkin apple butter as well, and I will put those links to those vlogs in the description box below as well. Well, that is it for me today. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I invite you to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video and appreciate the content, don't forget to show it some love, give it a thumbs up, and click share. And share this video with a friend or family. And don't forget to click that notification bell so you can come back and visit me again in my kitchen. And remember, it's always good when Devon is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.